It's November 2024. 2 killers, 8 survivors. The 2v8 mode is back. This game mode is becoming a time capsule. When we revisit it once it comes back, it'll be neat to see how the game mode develops. In the now, I've been playing Survivor. I'm under the impression queuing as a killer takes a long time. I haven't bothered trying to queue for it yet. My first take when playing this game mode, I did not enjoy the Survivor experience. I had teammates dropping skill checks, no expression with the gameplay that I normally have as a Survivor, and whether it's connection diff or not, there isn't much looping to be had. Or at least it's been difficult for me to have meaningful chases compared to normal 1v4 games. I am coming around to 2v8. The game mode dropped this week. I didn't want to be critical of it yet. I didn't play the first iteration of 2v8. My only experience so far has been this one, with the Survivor classes included. Survivors have 4 classes they can select from in pregame, basically a pre-designed loadout. I've used each of them, spending more time on the ones I struggled with. 2 of the easiest to use are Guide and Medic. Guide is the generator-oriented role. It's objective focus. Medic is about injuries and healing. I wanted to focus on Guide firstly for this. It feels like one of the stronger roles. Skills that have passives feel beginner-friendly. When I was first grinding DBD, I tried to pick perks without active abilities. That meant one less thing I had to think about while I was playing. Guide has built-in deja vu and technician qualities. You see gens, sounds are reduced. You can even activate a skill to speed gen repairs up. The class is pretty straightforward. The unlockable skill was something I wanted to go over. Once you get hooked, you unlock this special ability. For my first few games, I'd get hooked once, and my fellow survivors would not unhook me. I'd go second stage and die fast. Not the ideal gameplay I expected. It hasn't happened often since those games, and I've tried to avoid being in that scenario again. It confirms some survivors aren't playing for altruism. It made me realize the unlockable skill buy-in was tough because it seemed to depend on the game state. I still need to think about this skill design more. I'm not sure if I like or dislike it right now. I do wonder about the balancing of 2v8 if you're playing as killer. Maybe this game mode makes more sense if you've played both sides. Going back to the Guide's unlockable skill, they obtain an effect that activates around other survivors. It reads like it only works when near them, not by yourself. It's a gen speed repair ability, which is nice. If it's working as intended, it encourages grouping up, something I'm fond of in this game mode, something that feels encouraged. I learned early it's important to see what other classes people are running. The heads-up display to the left assists with that. It's tough for me to remember in the pregame who is running what. It's also easy to change classes fast. Guide and Medic are solid roles. Escapist and Scout feel more situational. I need to play those roles more to understand them. When you see Guides and Medics, the effects feel good. It feels like those roles are contributing to the team's success. As far as the killers you face in 2v8, I am not a fan. Most of them are not fun, at least for me. I had originally written up that Spirit was my least fun to face against. I think that's because the people using her normally killed with friends, or whatever the equivalent of Swift is. It feels like most killers are in pairs. I'm not always sure what their mindsets are when I'm playing the game. I can say that facing the Wraith is the worst. He seems juiced up, difficult to deal with, and he's been in nearly all my games. Variety is one of my favorite things as a survivor. I like facing a new killer each game. I don't like meta picks, so the experience gets worse for me dealing with repetition. The small killer pool does not help. I'm sitting on gens a lot as a guide. These killers that could patrol the big map clear us out so fast. Again, there's negative takeaways to playing Survivor. I'd be able to appreciate this more if I got to play both roles. Back to Guide, my game plan is simple. Spam gen repairs. It isn't all about gen repairs, of course. You can't neglect saving people, healing, stalling out a killer in chases. The priority is to get on a gen and work on the objective. You still have to play the game normally, however. DBD feels like a case-by-case, player-by-player experience. My games won't be what another player experiences. I don't think that diminishes the importance of Guide or Medic. These support roles must feel good for most players grinding this game mode. I'm often looking to see if the players I'm interacting with have these. It's a positive when I see them. My intention is to deep dive into all these roles. This game mode has its moments of frustration. The blood point bonuses are good though. I like to play killer, or at least hear about others not having to wait in queue a while. I think that's the worst part so far, queue times for killer. For now, we're grinding Survivor, and we'll see how the event plays out these 2 weeks.